Made in Mexico. $30 Wrangler 13 MWZ. One of the best jeans resides in this box right here. Just like these rigid raw blue ones, in this box we have some shadow blacks. Cowboy cut Wrangler 13 MWZ. Here we have the Wrangler 13 MWZ next to a pair of vintage Lee jeans. These are a left-hand twill. I made a short video about left-hand twill versus broken twill versus right-hand twill in Levi's. There are differences, so check out that very short video. These Wrangler 13 MWZ in shadow black are very rigid. Love that material. These are one washed, I believe. So they're washed one time, unlike the raw indigos here. These are rigid indigos. These are not washed, but they are sanforized. But when it comes to the other colors, they're all washed. So there is some, you can tell kind of by looking at the waistband and stuff like that. It's not raw. So the only Wrangler 13 MWZ that's raw is this rigid one here, the blue ones. The black ones and the other colors are washed, and that's perfectly fine to me. You can tell by looking at the hardware as well, kind of like that. Very nice deep dark material. This is a bit more faded because it is older, but that is nice and dark. These are one size down from my rigids here. So these are 32 by 32, and these blue ones will shrink, especially if you wash them on hot, much like the instructions say. That's mostly because of the indigo and not getting it crocked onto furniture and stuff like that. But regardless of the reason, if you wash these on hot, they will shrink. So that's why I got these at 32 by 32. That's kind of two sizes above what I need in the waist. Like a size 30 a lot of the time in jeans fits me just fine, but my thighs won't fit in size 30s in a lot of different kind of jean cuts. So with Wrangler 13 MWZs, I size up in the waist so that my thighs can fit, which means this size 31 is like one number size above what I would probably be able to wear, but I pretty much never wear size 30 jeans just because most jeans will not fit me around the thighs if I have them at that size. So size 31 and these kind of relaxed cowboy, it's not a relaxed fit actually. I would call the Wrangler 13 MWZs more of a relaxed, tailored fit, which I've talked about in other videos. Because it's more of like a working man's cut, it's somewhat roomy, and then they kind of tailor it down. And that's my favorite fit. That's why I think the Wrangler 13 MWZ are the absolute best jeans, especially at the price point. They're usually on sale for $30, down from $55. Pretty much always. I've noticed over the past 3 or 4 months that they're almost always on sale for $30, 29 something. So the reason I ended up picking these up at one number size lower than these blue ones is because I knew they won't shrink. They won't shrink any at all. Although I did kind of want to get the 31 by 31 because I prefer just a slightly longer inseam. But I guess the reason I didn't end up getting the 31 by 31 and I got 31 by 30 is because when I measured those blue Wranglers, they did come out to 32.5 inch on the inseam. So they come out longer on the rigids, I believe, but these actually did measure 30. I kind of wish they were measured at 30.5 inches, like a half inch longer, but understandably, since they won't shrink, they're at the right size. I usually just prefer just a slightly longer inseam. 31 would have been good too. So I'm in between my ideal sizes, and that's one thing I like to take note of when it comes to stuff like this is not everything has to be perfectly sized. As long as it fits your body, it looks good, then don't worry too much about having like the perfect inseam. A lot of people prefer like higher inseams where it looks a little bit more hiked up. I prefer a little bit more stacking whenever possible. A little bit more than this would be ideal for me, but even this is fine, especially as the material relaxes more. This to me looks pretty good. I would say these fit slightly less roomy than the 32 by 32 rigids. So these are 31, which means certain dimensions will be slightly more tailored, like the thigh. The thigh will be slightly less roomy than that, but not by too much. But that is also a really cool thing about Wrangler 13 MWZs is that they have pretty much every size you can think of. and one number size increments as well, which is very rare for companies to do. Usually only like big companies do it. And I guess Wrangler is big enough that they'll have, size 31 by 31, 31 by 32, 31 by 33. Any number size you can really think of, they do have, and for very cheap. So you can get a tailored looking pair of jeans for $30 from Wrangler, which is amazing to me. And for people that don't like the patch on there, I am going to end up cutting mine off on the black ones here just to keep it a little bit more low key. And with the rivets, of course, that kind of gives a nice visual appeal, in my opinion, without having a patch there, just the rivets. Very, very cool pair of jeans. That's why I bought them twice. And here we have the Wrangler 13 MWZ with the shadow black Wrangler jacket. This is the cowboy cut Wrangler jacket. Same deep blackness. This jacket is a little bit lighter, I suppose. I did wash it myself once, actually on hot, because I wanted to see if it would shrink. And that's how I know that these shadow black jeans will not shrink, is because I washed this jacket on hot and it shrank 0% anywhere. Whereas this Wrangler in rigid indigo shrank like over 5% for sure. Check the description of this initial video, and I've made shorts as well. I keep track of the shrinkage, and yeah, they've definitely shrank. These will, any other color pretty much will not. This shadow black jacket is one of my most worn denim jackets these days. It's not too old, it's only a few months old at this point, but it is a nice jacket. It's a bit hot lately, so I am going to definitely start wearing it more once it cools down. But I do wear it as much as I can. Biggest reason for that, the kind of temper that this 14.75 ounce shadow black which has, I mean, it doesn't matter what the color is, I guess, because even with the indigo ones, 14.75 ounces, these are over 15 ounces at this point after shrinkage. This material, this broken twill denim, is just so nice in my opinion. It's a rugged, durable kind of feel, and it kind of softens and tempers over time. And you can say that about kind of any denim. Yeah, like a left-hand twill starts off being super soft, and it gets softer, like jean material, like kind of like pajama material almost. Like left-handed twill is like the pajamas of denim, and this is in between right hand twill and left hand twill in the sense that it feels nice and rugged, but over time I would say it softens more than even right hand twill. But in like, it's hard to explain. It's kind of, you have to kind of handle the different twills at around similar weights to be able to really tell. But there is something special, in my opinion, about Wrangler's 14.75 ounce denim. It's just so nice. It ages nicely, and it doesn't have that leg twist, right? A lot of people don't like it. I don't mind it too much, but on the leg, the seam, if you see that the seam is kind of twisting toward the front on the right, that's a right hand twill, right? If it's twisting toward the front on the left, that's a left hand twill. Now, of course, a right hand twill would be twisting more like this, right? Always toward the right, and then the left would always be toward the left for each leg. With a broken twill like this, it won't twist at all. It'll always stay straight. I think some people tend to notice that it looks like the leg twists a bit, but that's mostly because of the knee bags. Like, you can tell that my knee is definitely not aligned in the center of the jean, because that's just how our bodies are, right? The jeans are straight leg, and my knee is not so straight. So it looks in appearance like sometimes there's leg twist on Wranglers, but that is not the case. They don't twist. Very, very cool. It's interesting how like I'm excited about getting Wrangler stuff just as much as more expensive things. Like I've had Ironheart jeans, which go for like $300 or $400, and I've been just as excited to get the Wranglers. But of course, in large part, I understand like that's kind of the psychology behind consumerism. It's like, of course, I'm going to be excited to get something new. That's kind of how the brain works. And I do love the Wranglers because you get that excitement for real cheap in comparison to a lot of jeans. And if you're using them for like life, work, whatever you're using them for, fashion, like they're going to hold up. And that's what I love about durable materials. And that's why I get excited about stuff like this, is because it's durable, it looks good, it's cheap. Like that is a big factor, I suppose. Is like not everything has to be cheap. I'm not saying you should buy cheap things. Like this shirt costs more than these jeans. This shirt is a $50 shirt from Whale Wish, and I think it's worth it, right? Like I think these boots are nearly 300, double H harness made in USA, Berry boots. I think that's worth it. Like, I don't know, like it doesn't really matter. I mean, that's actually kind of on the cheaper end of boots, but I still think it's worth it. A lot of people think that might be expensive, 300 bucks, right? So the common denominator that I've noticed, it's not really about the pricing so much. It's more about the material, how it looks when you wear it, how it feels as you're wearing it in, and as it's not breaking down on you. Those kind of feelings you get from stuff like this is what I really enjoy, I would say. And you won't get perfection. I have loose strings on here I need to cut off, which I'll do once I start cutting off that back patch, that Wrangler plastic patch right there. Kind of looks like it's rubberized plastic. And yeah, just nice stuff for affordable prices. It's what I would call fair, because they can sell it for that much and still make profit. This is hard not to recommend. So, use my affiliate links. I do get a little bit of a kickback without any charge to you. Yeah, Wrangler 13 MWZ. Can't get enough of them. Been loving these jeans a lot. These ones and the blue ones over there. And here we have the Wrangler 13 MWZ in Shadow Black with some Red Wing Pecos boots. These are vintage from 1989. Very nice. They're the widest boot shaft that I have, so they're nice to kind of test to see if the shaft prints through. And not really. Looks good. Pretty much the perfect leg opening on Wrangler 13 MWZ. And that's something you have to take into account as well when you size down, is that certain dimensions kind of get a little bit smaller, right? So the leg opening is probably slightly smaller than the leg opening on my 32 by 32 rigid indigo Wranglers, but probably not by much. And I will have all of the measurements in the description, as I always do with stuff like this. It's a great fit, and I don't mind it too much. I definitely wouldn't mind like just a half inch or maybe an inch longer, because these are now at 30.2 inches. Earlier in the video, I mentioned it was 30 inches exactly, but they're slightly over 30 inches, the inseam. I tend to prefer like 30.5 up to 31 point like 2. I'm just kind of making those numbers up, but anywhere from 30 and a half inches to around 31 and a half inches is like my ideal inseam length. This I would say is like just barely shorter than I prefer, but not in a way that I care at all. Like it really doesn't matter, because when I stand up they look good, they stack well. Not a super amount of stacking or anything like that, but it is nice enough. I definitely prefer how this looks over something like if they were maybe hiked up like an inch or an inch and a half more, so where you're kind of seeing more of the boot and it looks like you're wearing pants that are too short for you. I've never really been into that look, even though a lot of people think it's more of a tailored looking look. To me it looks more like the pants are just too small for you. Probably gonna cut some of this tree down, huh? A lot of branches in the way. But these are the Wrangler 13 MWZ in Shadow Black. Highly recommended. I do not have any complaints, and they're just going to get better and better over time. 100%.